Good morning, students. Once again, welcome back to computer science class. Today, here I am going to explain you about the software development life cycle. What is the software development life cycle and what is the use of that? What advantages, disadvantages you have in a software development life cycle? It is also, in short, it is called as a SDLC, software development life cycle. Okay. So, before going into a depth, first I'll give you one example. When you go to the railway reservation or ticket reservation, bus ticket reservation, before the software, before the computerized system, they used to give tickets manually. Okay. So afterwards, after few days, they have designed software according to their requirements. When you observe, the software which is designed in a railway reservation and in a bus ticket reservation, both are different because that are two different softwares. According to their requirement, that software was designed. Okay, so software was designed according to their requirements. Okay, if anybody want to computerize their system according to their requirements, we can design a software. But when you are designing a software, what steps you need to follow, that you need to discuss, that we'll discuss today. Okay, when you are designing a software for a particular organization according to their requirements, okay, what steps you need to follow, what information you need to gather from the clients, from the organization, okay, and how to code, how to design, everything we'll discuss now. Okay, so that is nothing but the SDLC, software development life cycle. Okay, actually software when you compare this SDLC with the programming development, programming is a part of a software. And when software means when any client want a software, then they will give some information to a programmer to design a software. So this designing of a software is not done by a single person. It is a collection of persons. It is more than one person is involved in a software development. When more than one person is involved in the software development, how they are sharing their information, how they are designing, everything we need to discuss. Okay, so this software development, actually it is not a single step, it is a series of steps. What it is a series of steps, and each successive step is dependent on the previous step outcome. Okay, so example, stage 1 is there. Next, stage 1 is completed. Whatever output you got from stage 1, that is used in the stage 2. Means stage 2 is analyzed based on the outcome is given by the stage 1. Okay, so stage 1, if it want to prepare any report, that prepare should be based on the outcome of the stage 1. Clear? So each successive step is dependent on the previous step outcome. Okay, so that is why for each and every step there should be a outcome. Okay, there should be a expected output. From each and every step there should be an output. Clear? So this is about SDLC. When you are developing a software for any organization or for any client, what steps you need to follow? Okay, that will form the SDLC. Here you have a number of steps. We'll discuss each and every step now. Okay, first we'll draw the SDLC, software development life cycle, and after that we'll discuss each and every stage of SDLC. Okay, so here this is about SDLC. It is a life cycle. It's a continuous process. Okay. So here first is requirement analysis, the first step. Next you come to the second one. Here feasibility study. After the requirement specification, requirement analysis, the second step is the feasibility study. Next, designing the system, and next implementing. The fourth step is the implementing. Next, fifth one is the testing. Sixth one is the deployment. And seventh one is the maintenance. There are 7 steps. So I think the last one is not visible. Okay, you can say SDLC. Total 7 stages are there. When you are designing a software, your each and every stage should be implemented. Okay, that software, whatever software design is there, that is start from a requirement analysis to the maintenance. Means that should go through all the stages of SDLC. Okay, here each and every step is performing some activity. Okay, some functionality is there for each and every step. So that is why when you are developing a software, all these stages should be done. All these stages should be happening in that SDLC. Okay, and it is very very important. Once you take the screenshot of this. Now we'll discuss about the requirement analysis. First one is a requirement analysis. Okay, here in the heading itself you have a definition, requirement analysis. Okay, I want to design example. One client is I am the client. I want software for my organization. Example, I am running a small organization. Example, college only you can take. I want to implement the computerization system for college. Okay, so here who is the client? I am the client because I want a software for my organization. So when I want a software for my organization, then I will give the complete information to the software developer. Then that organization or that person will design the software. Okay, so here when you want a software, you should, here I want a software, I should give my requirement. That stage is nothing but the requirement analysis. So in the requirement analysis, it is the first stage of the SDLC where client will give his complete information, what he want, okay, from what he is expecting from a new system, what requirement for a new system. That complete information the client should give to the software developer. Okay, so whenever the client want a software, he should give information about the requirement of the new software. And here some difficulties are there when the client want a software for his organization. At the beginning, at this stage, he may not able to give a complete information actually what he is expecting from a new system. So when a client want a software, there should be a continuous interaction between a software developer and a client, so that a client can he can give his new requirement, and according to that requirement the software requirement analysis document can be modified. Okay, so when the client want information, he will give complete requirements, what is expecting from a new system. Based on that, a document is created. That document is called as a system requirement document. Means from a new system, what the customer is expecting, what the client is expecting. Here only one point is there. When the client wants new software, from new software, what he is expecting, that requirement he has to give. Based on that, the software developer will create a one document that is called as a system development document. Okay, in that what he will mention, what the client is expecting from a new system, what is the expectation from a new system. Okay, so that expectations may be he won't find at the single step, means after few days or when his requirements are updating, the system development documents also it should update it, because according to client requirements we should design the software. Okay, so when a software developer is designing a document, the software, that software should be according to the customer requirements. So whatever document is designed according to the customer requirements, that document is called as a software requirement document or system development document. Okay, means from a new system what the customer is expecting. Okay, actually what he wants from a new system, that information will be given in a requirement analysis. That is the first stage. Okay, what is the next one? Feasibility study. Now, the second stage of SDLC is a feasibility study. Feasibility study is nothing but it's the requirements. It will give the requirements in order to design the new software, in order to implement a new software in the organization, what it required, means how much amount cost it required, and what technology it required, and employees with the skilled, means how much skill they required. This complete requirements. Okay, that will come under the feasibility study. And this feasibility study, actually it is a feasibility study document. It is prepared based on the existing system. Okay, so based on the existing system, it will give the new requirements. Okay, so feasibility study means in order to complete that project, in order to design that software, in order to implement that software in the organization, what are the requirements? That requirements will give inside the feasibility study. Again, this feasibility study is divided into, it's categorized into four. First one is determining the development alternative, analysis, economic feasibility, assessing technical feasibility, and analyzing operational feasibility. Again, feasibility is divided into four. First one is alternative, the second one is economy, third one is a technical requirement, and the fourth one is operational. Okay, how many requirements we have? Four. First one is the alternative method, the second one is a cost, third one is a technology is required, and the fourth one is the operational, skilled persons. These are the feasibility requirements. When you come to the determining the development alternative, see, when you are developing a software, we won't go with only the one way. To complete that projects, what are the best alternative methods to complete that project? That also we'll discuss. Okay, example, when you are designing a software using the C, and next one more new programming is there, C++. The cost of that the designing of a software using that language, it may less cost effective. Then we'll select that one. So when you are developing a project, what happened? We'll select the best things among different alternatives. Example, you are constructing a building. When you are constructing a building, directly with only one contractor we won't contact. We'll take opinion from multiple contractors, and whichever contractor is feasible to our building, only that person will select. Similarly, when you are designing a software, what type of language you should select? Means we'll search best one among a different. Okay, so here when you are designing a software, you need to select the best method among different alternatives. So here first you need to see all the alternatives, and from that you have to select one method for designing the software. The second one is analyzing economic feasibility. Economic means cost. Okay, so when you are designing a new software, first you have to think whatever software you are designing, that is beneficial for organization or not. Means it is giving profits to the organization or not. If it is giving, up to what extent it is giving. Okay, what is the ratio of this cost expenditure, this new software expenditure, and whatever benefits you are getting from that software. Okay, so in order to complete that software design, how much cost is required, how much amount is required. Okay, that amount is it is bearable by the organization or not. That complete information will analyze inside the economic feasibility. Okay, economic means cost. It's mainly related with the cost. How much cost is required to complete that organization? In how many years that will be written? And it is beneficial for the organization or not? It is giving a benefits, profits to the organization or not? That we'll discuss in a economic feasibility. Okay. Now the third one is accessing technical feasibility. Accessing technical, in the technical that in the side heading itself you have a definition. Means in order to complete that software development, what are the technologies we have? Which one is the best? And how much amount is required to take that technology? It is easy for the employees to learn that technology or not. That complete technical information, technical requirement, here we'll analyze. And based on that, one analysis report is prepared. Technical feasibility in order to complete the software development, and in order to install, till the installation, whatever technology is required. Okay, that will analyze in a technical feasibility. Complete, it is related to the technology. What technology we have to use, either C or C++, what hardware is required, what software is required. That will analyze in a technical feasibility. Now come to the analyzing operational feasibility. Operational feasibility means, actually it is a final. When you have developed the software, you have implemented inside the organization. So in order to implement that new software inside the organization, how many employees are needed? What skills they should have? Okay, that will discuss about, means how much training is also required, that will discuss about operational. This will done in the area of the organization. Operational, when the software is implemented, after implementing, what requirements actually the organization should have, means skilled employee they have, and we should give a training to that employee. How much training is required, that will analyze operational feasibility. Okay, so these will come under feasibility study. You take screenshot of this. Now the third one is design. Design of the system. Design of the system. See, in the first stage we have given the requirements. In the second stage we estimated the cost. And when you come to the third stage, it is a design of the system. In the name itself you have a definition, design of the system. In the last class I have explained, in the not in the last class, in the flow charts, in algorithms I have explained, design is the logical model. So whatever things are going to happen in the building or in the programming, that if you are presenting by using the symbols, that is called as a flow chart. Okay, so here also I will give same example I will give. You are constructing a building. Example, that you imagine that building is a software. So when you are constructing a building, what you will do, first you take the planning of that one. Okay, you will prepare the planning. How many rooms are there, what is the size of each and every room, and where should be the door and where should be the window. That complete information you will give. Okay, that complete information you will give not by using that sand and the bricks. How will you give? You will present that on the paper using a different symbols. Similarly, when you are designing a software, complete information means what is the input and what is the output, how the input is coming and how the output is going to the user. Everything you can present by using a design of the system. It is called as a conceptual method, logical method of the system. It will provide a clear picture of the software development. Okay, means whatever modules are there, what is the module of each and every function. Okay, what is the use of each and every function, how many modules are there, what is the purpose of this module. That complete information, if you are presenting by using a standard symbols like a flow chart, that is nothing but the design of the system. Okay, so here nothing will we are presenting. What we are presenting here, whatever requirements are there, how we are developing a software, how many modules, means the total software is divided into different parts and each and every part is called as a module. So how many modules are there, what is the purpose of each module, and what are the input and output of each and every module. Okay, you are presenting by using a standard symbols, that is called as a design of the system. Okay, here we will create the model of the system. Okay, see, whenever when you go to any shopping mall or any apartment, first they will give the model at the very beginning. Similarly, before you are constructing a software, you are giving a model of the software. Okay, but there they will give the shop numbers like areas and all. But here what will give? Here will give the functions. What is the use of the function? How many functions are there? For that functions, what input and output values are there? That information will give. Example, if you will take this ePass website. ePass is also a website. It is a scholarship website. What information you will get there? College login is there, administration login is there, student login is there. That is modules. Again, under that module, different functions are there. Like that, we will present by using a logical model, pictorial presentation under the design. Okay. Now, after the design, what is the next stage is a implementation. The next one is the implementation. Implementation here is nothing but example. First stage requirements, second stage feasibility study, the third stage is a design. So in the design you have given number of functions and what is the use of that function, everything you have given. When you come to implementation, whatever modules you have specified for that mod at each stage, for each and every module, the programming code is written. Okay, and this programming code is written according to the modules. Okay, now in this stage, just we will write the programs for whatever model you have given in the third stage, second and first. Okay, from this point you will get the programming part. Understood? Programming. Here, whatever modules you have mentioned in a design model, for each and every module, in this stage, we'll write the program using a different programming languages. Clear? And this programs written according to the requirement of each and every stage. And then the next one is testing. Next one is testing. Actually, after writing a program, what we'll do is we'll test the programs whatever the user has written. Okay, why we'll do the test? Because whatever program you have written, whatever software you have developed, that is designed according to the user requirement or not. Okay, because sometimes there may be a mistakes, and that mistakes may be the information already given by the user, like whatever requirements he specified, that may be wrong. Or sometimes while typing, while doing a programming code also, sometimes programmers may make some mistakes. That the mistakes can be verified in this stage. So whatever software is developed, that software is tested according to the user requirement. Means that software is designed according to the user requirement or not. So it is nothing but a trial version where the software is implemented in the organization, and from organization points, few people will enter some data and will check that software is running properly or not. If that software is running properly, means that software is designed according to the user requirement. If it is giving any error, means there may be a mistake inside the system, and that mistake may be by the client or by the programmer who coded the program. Okay, so here we'll test the software. If it is designed according to the user requirement, that will be implemented successfully. If there is any mistake in the new software, again that mistakes will be rectified. Okay, and next after that, deployment. The next stage is the deployment. Deployment is nothing but the delivering project to the client. See, all the stages over. Coding is over, testing is over. So according to the user requirement, if the software has been designed, then finally what we'll do, we'll give that software to the user. And whatever document you have created, means whatever code you have written, at the same time for that code should be presented hard copy also. Whatever software you have designed, for that complete software, hard copy should also be submitted to a user. Okay, so complete software and hard copy should be delivered to the customer client in this stage. So that is called as a deployment. And the deployment, what we'll do, we'll give the design a new software, and whatever documentation is there, that will be handed over to the customers. Here, what is the documentation? Whatever code you have given, whatever requirements you gathered, and whatever feasibility study, everything, whatever you did, that should be written inside the paper, in the book. Okay, so that should be given to a customer. Okay, so finally giving the design, the new software and the documentation to the user is called as a deployment. Is a complete things handed over to the customer. And what is the next one? It is a maintenance. So in the maintenance, so here this is the last stage. In this stage, whatever new software you have designed, that is successfully implemented in the organization. And when you implemented this new software in the organization, whatever people are there in that organization, they may get a lot of doubts. So you need to clarify the doubts, and if any modifications are there, that will be rectified here also. Understood? So this is a means continuous. If updates are there, that will be maintained. Understood? So this is about the SDLC. Means from starting, from gathering requirements from the customer to the implementing software in the client's organization. There are several steps. Okay, requirement analysis, feasibility study, design, implementation, testing, deployment and maintenance. Each and every step is used for some specific purpose, and each and every step perform some different actions which plays a major role in the software development. Okay, when you compare your program and the SDLC, both are different. Program is a small part of the SDLC and one person is enough for writing a program, but when you come to a software, there are a number of persons are involved in designing a software. Okay, and with together they will design the software. So when they are designing a new software, they will take care of each and every stage of SDLC. Okay, so in the requirement analysis, what they will do, they will gather information from customer, client, what they want. Based on that, they will prepare the feasibility study. Based on the feasibility study, they will design the model. Based on the model, they will write the programming code. And whatever code is there, that will be tested. Next, implemented. Next, maintained. Okay, so this is about SDLC. I hope you all understand. Next, in the coming topic, in the coming classes, I will start the C programming, which are very basic and which are fundamental to all the remaining programming languages. Okay, like what is a C programming, what is the structure of C programming, what components we'll use to write a program. Each and every point we'll discuss from our next videos. You try to concentrate on the next videos. Okay, thank you.